All right, y'all, welcome to the show. So today, we're going to poke fun at Bill Maher because he's really smug and annoying me, and I think you'll agree when you see the segment we're going to react to. Then we'll get to Joe Biden released some ads against Trump, and look, he's definitely fighting harder now that it's officially 2024. I'll show you the ads, and I think some of them are pretty savage. So we'll talk about that. Then we'll get to Trump at his rallies, basically begging and pleading the entire time to let him do crimes. I mean, I'm paraphrasing there, but like barely, you'll see. And then we will also get to MSNBC kind of shockingly turned on Biden a little bit. And there's an Oklahoma Republican who proposed a bill to ban the viewing of all pornography. Ban the viewing of all pornography. Okay. All right. So we'll dive into it here in just a second. Everybody do me a big favor. Please subscribe to the channel. It helps out massively. It costs you absolutely nothing. And we're trying to hit that 2 million subscriber mark. We're a long way off, but you build it one at a time. All right. So let's dive into it. Bill Maher did a new rule segment for the end of 2023, now the beginning of 2024. And the title of it is The Year of Sanity. And what he's going to do is this classic, arrogant, smug Bill Maher shtick where he's like, isn't everybody so stupid? And aren't I so smart? Okay. Why don't people have all of my opinions? Because my opinions are the right ones. That's my Bill Maher impression, and I think it's spot on. So anyway, let's dive into it, and we'll react as we go here.
And finally, new rule for 2024. America has to go back on its meds. You know, over the holidays, I saw a lot of people, and I asked them all the same two questions. One, have you seen Woody Harrelson? He's my ride. And
I think that's supposed to be like, aren't I so cool? I hang out with Woody Harrelson. It's like when he does the, I smoke weed. Did you know I smoke weed and I have sex? Yeah, I'm a bad boy. He likes to do that whole shtick.
two, if I said, let's make 2024 the year of blank, what would you say? I was surprised. They all said the same thing. Sanity. Let's make this the year of sanity. Everybody thinks we've gone bonkers. And a lot of it is because the far ends on both left and right have gotten way too much attention, which begs the question, how do you suck all the oxygen out of the room and still not get any to your brain?
He's doing the whole enlightened centrist tap dance here. I mean, that's what this is, right? It's like, there's extremes on the right and the left, and they're both equally stupid. And I'm above the fray, and I'm above it all, and I'm going to call out both of them, okay? Like, that's what he's doing.
I feel like it wasn't that long ago when you could watch cable news for a day and not get the impression that this whole place was totally batshit. That simply was not America. Florida, yes, but not America. So let's examine what makes sane people feel this way. Sane people who are, after all, still the vast majority and who are the ones who, I assume, just voted me the most trusted man in America. That is a real headline.
WPA Intelligence. I don't know what organization that is, but they have Bill Maher as the most trusted man in America with 52%, Joe Rogan at 46%, Tucker Carlson at 43%, Jake Tapper at 42%. Whoo! I mean, I don't even know how to react to that. Look, the sad reality, and I think everybody knows this to be true on some level, is that it's all about like personality. People gravitate to different personalities, and Bill Maher is one of those guys who sounds super confident with literally everything he says. So apparently that works on 52%, according to this poll, where they're like, oh, he must be keeping it real. He's really smug. So, I mean, I don't know what to make of that. I think it's a pretty goofy poll, but of course he's going to brag about it and suck himself off in front of the audience.
What does strike a sane person as crazy? I don't know. If you're going to ask me, I would start with the fact that I still occasionally see someone driving alone with a mask on.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going out on a limb here. He doesn't see that. He doesn't see that. He's writing a joke. This is a joke, obviously. And look, it's fair game, right? You can make a joke, but this is not something that you see. And also, by the way, who gives a fuck? Like, who cares? Who cares? If somebody's a germaphobe, and there's a lot of germaphobes, let them do their thing, man. Homie's not hurting anybody. But again, I don't even really believe him that he sees this. I don't really believe him. But I love how this is the first thing. And his whole thing about, like, the year of sanity. I'm going to bring us back to sanity. His first point is like, look at this asshole wearing a mask in his car. Yeah, Bill. You're so sane, Bill. Thank you.
Who do they think they're going to get it from? The lady in the next car putting on her makeup? Or maybe I would say it's the continuing debt ceiling debate. Every time a Democrat is president, the Republicans threaten to tank the world economy by forcing us to take a vote on whether to pay back the money we already spent. No other country does this. It's like eating at a restaurant and then taking a vote on whether to dine and dash.
True. Yeah, I think what you're going to find in this new rule segment is that, like, every shot he takes at the right is, like, fair enough. But every shot at the left is like, are you having fun beating up on your straw man lefty all day?
And whoever the Republicans make Speaker of the House, if he doesn't vote for Dash, which he really can't do in the job they just gave him, they try to get rid of him. Congress isn't a deliberative body anymore. It's a rave without a permit in a burning paint warehouse. Insane. But probably the first thing on my and most people's list of insanity is that this guy is going to be president again. It feels surreal that we're in court every day trying to prove Trump wanted to overturn the election, while he's on the campaign trail every day telling everyone they should have overturned the election.
I mean, he's right about this. And I actually agree with him that I think right now, I think the most likely scenario is Trump becomes president again. Obviously, the big outstanding question is, like, is he going to be found guilty of a felony, in which case then he'd be sort of taken off the field. But even then, we're going to have a constitutional crisis because he's not going to go silently into the night, nor will the Republican Party. But, like, I do think he's, on paper right now, he is the favorite to be president again, and that is terrifying.
It also strikes normal people as insane that Trump fans are perfectly okay with the fact that he was recently asked if he wanted to be a dictator, and he did not say no. Neither did his lawyer say no when a judge asked him, could a president who was not impeached order SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival? The lawyer's answer was a qualified yes. Okay, these are not brain teasers. Neither should it have been difficult when presidents of elite colleges were asked if it's okay to call for the genocide of Jews, and they couldn't just say, fuck no. Can't anybody just say fuck no anymore?
This is such bullshit. That is such bullshit. These people were asked, if somebody called for the genocide of Jews, does that violate school policy? And their answer was, yes, if it crosses into harassment and action, absolutely. That was the answer. That is 100% the correct answer. You cannot get a more correct answer than that. In other words, look, we have free speech. You might like it, you might hate it. We have free speech. Something is actually a problem when it is a direct threat of violence or a direct incitement to violence. So people get to say, I mean, look, Bill Maher's made this point a million times, and he's right when he says it, that the Supreme Court said in the Skokie case, the KKK can march through a predominantly Jewish town. They could wear their goofy outfits and all that shit. Why? Because we have free speech. As long as it's peaceful, that's what it is. It's called freedom. We don't have to like it, but it's freedom. It's the least bad of all bad options in that scenario. You let them do their march. Once it gets to violence or direct threats of violence or incitement to violence, then yes. But the answer given by all these heads of the universities were 100% correct. But here's the part nobody tells you. Nobody was on a college campus saying, let's genocide the Jews. That's made up. It's made up. What actually happened was people were chanting, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, and they were chanting Intifada. And that is interpreted in a bad faith way by bad faith actors as, you're calling for the genocide of Jews. When you go talk to those people who are saying those things, some young college kid with a septum ring and pink hair is going to tell you, when I say from the river to the sea, I mean a democratic, secular, one-state solution for all where Israelis and Palestinians and Muslims and Jews live in peace alongside each other. That's their position. Instead, that was straw man as they all want to genocide all the Jews. It's total fucking bullshit, crocodile tears, and he's feeding into this nonsense here by acting like, yeah, the right is crazy for loving Trump, and the left is crazy because they want to genocide the Jews, and they're not okay with condemning people who say genocide the Jews. It's such fucking horseshit. It's such enlightened centrist bullshit. Like, I'm above the fray. I'll call out the nonsense on both sides, even though the nonsense on the left in this instance is not nonsense at all. It's actually 100% correct. Jesus fucking Christ.
Does anybody even know who to root for anymore? A store manager at Lululemon tried to stop some shoplifters last year, and the CEO fired her. Fired the person trying to stop robbers from robbing his store. That's crazy. But this is crazy too.
If you rob a store, you can fully expect to be shot as you are leaving that store. Shot.
Really? We can't come to some sort of middle ground on this? On any issue, socially liberal but not stupid, woke, fiscally sane but not cruel. Is this really that hard? Trans people should be respected and protected, but no penises in women's prisons, maybe? Legalize pot, but maybe stop giving drugs to hard drug addicts?
First of all, we all know, I was just waiting for it. I was like, I know that the anti-trans stuff is going to come eventually. I mean, it's like, that train is never late. I'm waiting for it. And of course, he hits it. He hits us with it. And then, what was the other one? Wait, I got it here. What was the other one again?
Legalize pot, but maybe stop giving drugs to hard drug addicts?
Okay, legalize pot, but stop giving hard drugs to drug addicts. Okay, this just shows how uneducated he is on this topic. The whole point of safe injection sites is, hey, we're having this epidemic of people overdosing and dying, and we're having this epidemic of diseases being passed around because people are using dirty needles. So, if drug addicts are going to basically do drugs anyway, why not have the infrastructure in place so that they don't overdose and die or pass infectious diseases around to everybody? So the whole point of the safe injection sites has nothing to do with, like, incentivizing them to take drugs. You know, just feeding the addiction and wanting them to make bad decisions. It is literally a life-saving measure that is objectively, empirically proven to work. Now, you still don't have to like the policy. You can disagree with the policy. But don't, like, smugly strawman what they're doing here. Like, everybody knows, everybody who understands the logic here understands, well, this is because people are overdosing and dying in the streets. If you have these safe injection sites, that doesn't happen. And people are passing around diseases. If you have these safe injection sites, that gets nipped in the bud. There are no more diseases passed around because the needles are clean. And there are professionals there if somebody overdoses. So that's the point of it. But instead, he's like, you know, this is stupid, but legalizing pot is good. I'm an enlightened centrist.
Haley says America's never been racist, and social justice warriors say there's been no progress since Amos and Andy. A terrorist organization in the Middle East that treats women like slaves invaded Israel last October and shot hundreds of young people at a music festival in the desert. And now America's streets are full of parades in support of the shooters.
Yeah, Bill. Yeah, that's what's happening. All the people who are pro-Palestine, they're really out there saying, yay, Hamas. Let's do more rapes. Let's do more wanton violence. They're definitely not out there to say, hey, Israel, stop carpet bombing babies. 12,000 children have been killed and 28,000 innocent civilians have been killed. There's been dozens of hospitals bombed, hundreds of schools bombed, standalone UN buildings that have been bombed. There's a total siege where 2.3 million people don't have access to food, water, electricity, etc. Yeah, the people who are out in the street are out there going, we love Hamas. They're not out there going, please stop carpet bombing innocent people. Please stop wiping Gaza off the map. This is what I'm talking about. He thinks he's so fucking smart, but that entire thing he just said here was a complete and utter straw man, and he's smart enough to know it's a straw man. He smugly dismisses anybody who's pro-Palestine as, you guys just love Hamas, please. God, man, can you engage in an intellectually honest way for one time in your whole fucking sad life? He's so married to his own opinions that he just assumes the worst of everybody who disagrees with him. God, it's so fucking childish. Like, grow up. What's he, in his 60s? What is he, 70 years old? Oh, all these hundreds of thousands of people who've protested, yeah, they're all just pro-Hamas. They're not, like, you know, in favor of Israel not carpet bombing babies and creating a Palestinian state. No, it's got nothing to do with that.
That's the literal standard for involuntary commitment, when you're a danger to yourself. I mean...
So all the pro-Palestine protesters are a danger to themselves. That's what he's saying. Because they're pro-Hamas, and they go to Coachella, they go to these parties, and they would have been massacred there, right? And Hamas massacred some other music festival, so therefore, you're a danger to yourself. I guess they all need to be in an insane asylum, right, Bill? God, what a smug prick.
The NRA are bad, but after a school shooting, they don't march against schools. Thank you, one guy. The far left's new crush is the Houthis. Up until a week ago, everyone on TikTok thought a Houthi was what you get when someone hits your elbow. Ow! You gave me a Houthi. And the Houthi slogan is, God is great, death to the U.S., death to Israel, curse the Jews, and victory for Islam. Like, comment, and subscribe. So naturally, when the college kids heard that slogan, they said, please stop, you had me at death to the U.S.
This is so, I can't. Like, we're out here like suckers trying to engage honestly, and he's just out there to shamelessly and ruthlessly lie about what the position is of these people. And by the way, I am happy to put myself in this position because he would say it of me, right? He would say, oh, this guy loves the Houthis. The position of the Houthis of let's block ships from going to Israel because they are in the midst of a genocide where they're carpet bombing babies. That's the thing that people are referring to. And by the way, the point right after that is we shouldn't have to have the Houthis do this. It should be the U.S. doing it. It should be the UN doing it. It should be international law, which is enforced, which is like, hey, maybe we could apply some economic pressure to the people who are doing a genocide to stop them from committing that genocide. That's the position. Nobody has ever said, no lefty has ever said, you know, I really love Hamas's domestic policies vis-a-vis gay rights. You know, I really love the Houthis' domestic policy vis-a-vis having slaves or being Shia Islamists. Nobody said that. Nobody believes that. You know nobody said that. You know nobody believes that. You know the point that's being made is, Jesus, it's one of the poorest nations in the world, a militant group in one of the poorest nations in the world that is lifting a finger to do anything to try to stop a genocide from unfolding right in front of our eyes? That's the point. You know that. Everybody knows that. But there's so much smug condescension and straw manning of the beliefs of people who make this point, myself included. That's why I came out and I said, I know it's going to be controversial, but the Houthis are right on this point. They are correct. That doesn't mean their domestic policies are right. That doesn't mean their policies on gays or Jews or America or whatever is right. No, of course, none of those things are right. That's obvious. They're Shia Islamists. This stuff is obvious. But trying to stop ships from trading with Israel to put economic pressure on them so that they stop the carpet bombing of babies in Gaza, that's the point. And it should be the U.S. doing that. It should be the UN doing that. I told you a million times, but if you're Joe Biden, what you should do, cut off the money going to Israel because they're doing a genocide. Cut off the weapons going to Israel because they're doing a genocide. Cut off, have the UN do an official condemnation and you sign on to that condemnation. And then right after that is what? Blockade, sanction, economic pressure to make it so that if you don't stop the genocide, sorry, there's going to be fewer goods coming into your country. There's going to be no weapons coming into your country. And we're basically making you stop. It's very similar to apartheid South Africa where you had economic pressure globally put on South Africa, and that's really what forced them to change their policy. Same thing with Israel. But no, instead it's like, did you know that the left actually loves Shia Islamism? Yeah, that's right. Code Pink is really itching to, have the death penalty for gay people inside this country. Like, shut the fuck up, man. Jesus Christ.
Insane. Insane that we're cheering for the terrorists now. It's also...
Interesting. So again, let's be clear. From Bill Maher's perspective, well, the Houthis are just terrorists, full stop. They're just terrorists. Would he ever call Israel terrorists when they kill 12,000 children? When they kill 28,000 innocent civilians? When they tell people in Gaza to go to the south to be safe, and then they bomb the south? When they bomb dozens of hospitals and hundreds of schools? When they displace 1.955 million people out of 2.3 million people? Would he ever call Israel terrorists? Would he ever call the U.S. terrorists? When we, for example, bomb hospitals, as we did in Afghanistan under Obama when we were there. When Trump increased drone strikes by 432% and killed a young American girl as his first action as president. So, see, this is his warped... Hey, we mean well. So when we do it, doesn't really count. The Houthis, well, they mean bad. So when they do something, even if in a rare instance it happens to be good, it's not good. You just support terrorists. Look, he's a fucking dumb boomer. I don't know what you want me to tell you. He's a fucking dumb boomer.
To think that this would ever come out well?
You get it? You get it? Because Hamas and Muslims are not really kind to gay people, so therefore, Palestinians have no right to self-determination and sovereignty and independence. They need to be under the boot of Israeli occupation from now until the end of time. You get it? Because they don't like gays, so now they have to have zero self-determination, no Palestinian state, no independence, no sovereignty. I'm Bill Maher. I'm very smart. You get to occupy people if they have really bad opinions. Did you know that? You can legally occupy them if they have shitty domestic opinions. What a fucking scumbag.
And it's also insane to feel that it's important to try and prove that Taylor Swift is gay, which apparently is what the supposedly most esteemed newspaper in America feels is very important to do. That's so insane, I don't even get it. If Taylor Swift is gay, What? This is somehow a better country? The far left now insists men can have babies if they just concentrate hard and don't listen to the haters.
Trans men were born biologically female. Now they identify as trans men. They still have all the hardware and the software to have a baby. I'm pretty sure that's the point people are making. Now, maybe most trans men would probably choose not to get pregnant because if they want to fully view themselves as man and embody the male gender identity, right, the male gender, in order to do that, yeah, you probably wouldn't want to get pregnant, right? But are there some rare instances where a trans man gets pregnant? Yeah. They think this is such a fucking own, right? The left thinks men can get pregnant. I'm pretty sure the left would say 0 biological men can get pregnant. If you're born biologically male, yeah, you can't get pregnant. So trans women can't get pregnant. Like, this is not complicated, but they pretend like, oh, everybody but me is such a fucking idiot. All these lefties are so dumb. They're so dumb. They think men can get pregnant. They think men can get pregnant. They think men can get pregnant. Oh.
It's a better country? No, and neither does persecuting a pregnant woman who wants to get an abortion for a fetus doctors say will not survive. Could everyone just stop being nutty, completely nutty, for 5 fucking minutes? The battle for the soul of this country isn't right or left. It's normal versus crazy.
Normal versus crazy. In other words, the people who are more like me. People need to be more like me, Bill Maher. Be more like me. That's how you fix the country, okay? You do enlightened centrist stuff where you beat up on the right and the left equally, and you smugly assert your opinions and get paid millions and millions of dollars for it. And if you're more like me, the country will be back to sanity. Oh. I don't know what else to say, but God, it's so navel-gazing, right? It's so like, he just is in love with the sound of his own voice, you know? And again, I think his biggest flaw is like, I go out of my way to try to be kind to people who don't share my beliefs and like understand where they're coming from before I react to it. He's purposely trying to do the opposite. I'm just going to assume everybody who doesn't agree with me is a total fucking idiot and present like the dumbest straw man argument of the people who don't agree with me and then swat it down easily. It's like, okay, I hope you're having fun playing basketball on your Fisher-Price hoop, which is up to like your shoulder, right? Like, oh, you must feel like a real tough guy, real man, swatting aside all these straw men really easily. But that's Bill Maher. What are you going to do? Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.